The end of synthetic chemicals. This is the Change Underground. I'm your host, John. Decarbonise the air, recarbonise the soil. Welcome to episode 7 of season 9, The End of Synthetic Chemicals. The widespread use of synthetic chemicals in conventional ag raises environmental concerns and sparked a growing interest in sustainable and environmentally friendly farming practices. Regen ag, with its emphasis on restoring and enhancing ecosystem health, is an obvious alternative to chemical-intensive farming. Let's delve into the regen ag practices that aim to ditch chemicals for the betterment of the environment, soil, and our food system. Well, let's start with the obvious question: why ditch chemicals? Because there's an established system out there growing food. Traditional ag often relies heavily on synthetic chemicals, pesticides, fertilisers, and whatnot. While these chemicals have led to increased yields, they've come with significant environmental health and sustainability drawbacks. Environmental impact. Pesticides and herbicides can and do harm non-target species, including beneficial insects and wildlife, leading to imbalances in ecosystems. They also contribute to water pollution and harm aquatic life. Soil degradation. The repeated application of synthetic fertilisers degrades soil quality over time by disrupting nutrient cycling and promoting nutrient runoff. And you basically lose 1% of your topsoil every year with the synthetic model. Health concern. The use of chemical pesticides raises concerns about human exposure and potential health risks. Residues on food and in the environment can have adverse effects. In fact, they do. Resilience to pests. Over-reliance on synthetic pesticides leads to pest resistance, necessitating the development of more potent and environmentally damaging chemicals, and the race continues. Regen ag practices that ditch chemicals. Regen ag focuses on creating a more sustainable and ecologically balanced food system. While the exact practices can and do vary, the core principles aim to reduce and eventually eliminate synthetic chemicals from their use through the use of alternative, holistic methods. First of all, we got our minimal soil disturbance. No-till, minimum till or reduced tillage practices are central to regen ag. These practices involve minimal disturbance of the soil, such as no ploughing or harrowing. By leaving the soil structure intact, soil erosion is reduced and beneficial microorganisms are preserved. This removes the need for synthetic herbicides and promotes the development of healthy carbon-rich soil. Secondly, cover cropping. Cover cropping is the practice of planting specific crops in between main cash crops. These cover crops must usually include legumes, grasses, and other plants, protecting the soil from erosion and suppressing weed growth. They also improve soil health by adding organic matter when they are incorporated into the soil by biological processes. Better soil structure and reduced weed pressure means the reliance on synthetic herbicides and chemical fertilisers decreases to zero. Crop rotation. Crop rotation involves regularly changing the types of crops grown in a particular field. This practice disrupts pests and disease cycles and helps manage soil nutrients more efficiently. By avoiding continuous monocrop rotation benefits both the environment and soil health. Livestock integration. As nature does. Many regen systems incorporate livestock, cattle, sheep, chickens, and so on, into the farming process. Indeed, the more animals, the better. Different species consume different parts of the pasture-forest system when rotated sympathetically. They utilise the entire system and maintain its health through the actions of their teeth, feet, and excreta. This practice not only adds diversity to the farming system, but also enhances nutrient cycling. For example, the presence of animals improves soil quality through their dung and urine, removing the need for synthetic fertilisers. Moreover, livestock contribute to pest control, as some animals consume insects and weed species. Fifthly, reduced synthetic inputs. A key goal of regen ag is to eliminate the use of synthetic inputs. This includes pesticides, herbicides, and synthetic fertilisers. By promoting healthy soil and diverse crop rotations, regen practices reduce to zero the need for these chemicals. Farmers adopting regen methods aim to rely on natural systems for pest control and soil fertility. Sixthly, if that's a word, organic matter addition. The addition of organic matter to the soil is central to regen ag. Practices like composting and mulching provide an excellent source of organic matter, enriching the soil with essential nutrients. Healthy soils with high organic matter content not only promote plant growth, but also enhance the soil's ability to retain moisture, reducing the need for irrigation and synthetic fertilisers. And of the two, I'm more inclined to go towards mulching rather than composting, but that's just me. Seventhly, we're inventing words as we go here. Pest management through ecological balance. Regen Ag promotes the use of ecological principles to manage pests. By creating habitat for beneficial insects, supporting diverse ecosystems and using practices like crop rotation we've mentioned, regen farmers encourage a natural balance of predator and prey population. This reduces the reliance on chemical pesticides and brings them down to zero, while maintaining ecological health. The trick is to give nature time to respond. I remember a time when we had aphids growing, attacking the sweet corn, and within 2 days we'd been infested, if that's not the wrong word, with ladybirds that were then gobbling up the aphids, and they were gone by the end of the week, and the plants were covered. So other challenges and considerations. While regen ag practices offer numerous benefits, their adoption is not without challenges. Transitioning from traditional farming methods and the out-of-whack ecosystems they produce can be complex and may require significant changes in farm management and operations. Some of the challenges and considerations include the transition period. Shifting from conventional farming practices to regen ag will require a transition period. Farmers may experience lower yields during the initial years as the soil and ecosystems recover and adjust to new practices. The ability to do this will be dependent upon debt levels and access to credit. Knowledge and training. Learning regen ag practices and principles may require additional training and knowledge. Farmers need to understand the ecological dynamics of their farm, the intricacies of soil health, and the unique conditions of their region. However, with this little thing we call the internet, such knowledge is readily available. And the most important thing that the farmer can develop is their mind, their ability to think critically and to reason through what's happening in front of them. Financial considerations. There may be initial investments in equipment or infrastructure needed to implement regen practices. However, many farmers find the long-term benefits, including reduced input costs, make up for these initial expenses. And farmers, as a rule, tend to be fairly ingenious at fixing things and creating new things. That, and combined with their welding skills, makes them a powerful force for change. Monitoring and adaptation. Regen Ag requires continuous monitoring and adaptation. The seasons change year to year, then no 2 winters and no 2 springs are ever the same. Same with the other 2 seasons. Farmers observe how their ecosystem responds to changes and make adjustments accordingly. The farmer's mind and not the chemical company's handbook becomes the guiding light. Market access. So while the demand for regen products is growing, market access can be limited in some regions. Building relationships with consumers and local markets is an essential part of successful transition. We are, in fact, by moving to regen ag, rebuilding the food system from the ground up, quite literally. Regen ag is a sustainable path forward. Ditching chemicals through regenerative ag practices is a significant step towards building a more sustainable and resilient food system, ecosystem, and planet. By removing synthetic inputs, enhancing soil health, and promoting biodiversity, regen ag practices provide a promising solution to the challenges of climate change and environmental degradation. Regenerative ag not only benefits the environment, but also yields healthier and more nutritious food, promotes a more balanced and harmonious relationship between farmers, the land they cultivate, and the end consumers. As more farmers and communities embrace these practices, the potential for positive change grows. By supporting regen ag and making informed choices about the food we consume, we contribute to a more sustainable and ecologically conscious future. Ditching chemicals for regen practice is not only an option, it's a crucial path forward to ensure a healthy and resilient food system for generations to come. And it is part of the process of decarbonising the air and recarbonising the soil. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week. This has been a JM Podcasting Services production. Link in the show notes.